Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Tim Matthews, with my co-host, Jared, the Powerful Man Rush.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Just kidding. No, that was cheesy. That was cheesy. No, you're the powerful man, and
I caught you off guard then, didn't I?
You did. I'm just happy to be along for the ride. I was trying to turn off my little notifications that keep popping up during these podcasts because I'm new to this game. I don't have 500 of these under my belt like you and Doug do. You almost do. You're getting there. That's awesome.
So last episode, before we kick that off, you said, hey, I've got 4 topics.
Right.
We jumped on. We just did one of them, which I thought was a great topic, trusting you got and taking a leap.
Right.
What do you want to do as the second one? We've just honestly, transparently, Jared's done the prep for this. We've shown up, hit record, and it's the way we like to do it, off the cuff, and see where it goes. So
I think take it away. You know what? It's the thing I actually struggle with the most. It's how to focus in a world of constant distractions. I feel like we live in this crazy world now, and it's shifting and it's changing so rapidly. But at the same time, we're not able to get back to basics and get back to our roots and get back to just peace and quiet and all these things that don't allow themselves to be present in a world today where you're constantly attached to your phone. You're constantly attached to the latest, greatest, newest, whatever. And I think that the world is becoming very distracting in general, but also that's robbing us from the things that maybe that our grandparents or our parents were able to understand and appreciate now that we don't even have a clue what life without them is like now. And it's a little scary to think how our kids' lives are going to be, with iPads and Roblox and all these constant, dopamine hit distractions. But for me, a guy who struggles with ADD, who struggles with, focus and things like that, walking around with a device in your hand, basically at all times, it's taking away from missing out on a large moments in life that you'll never get back. So I'd like to get your advice on how to focus in a world of constant distractions, because it is my wife's biggest complaint. And it is also the thing I know in my heart. If I could focus and if I could conquer, I could up level and I could really, really enjoy the things I'm missing out on because of the distractions.
Good question. Am I okay to just riff on this and share what you... Okay.
Absolutely.
So I think the first thing is you've got to have something that's worth focusing on. Right. So, whether you want to say you've got to know what you want, but it's true, right? If it's very easy to focus on something that consumes you and really requires your full creative potential and brings out the best in your leadership and, is in alignment with your personality. Like so many people that we speak with anyway, operate in their business in ways that they don't want to operate, or they operate in a business that they also don't want to operate in. So therefore, if you're showing up every day, imagine how hard it is to then motivate yourself to take action and be on form in a business or a project that you don't really want to be in. And honestly, that's a symptom of a lot of men not having clear boundaries in their life, not taking a stand for what they actually want in their life. Because the chances are, if you're in a business that you don't want to be in, or operating in a business in a way that you don't want to operate, the likelihood is there's other areas of your life whereby you're also tolerating. You're also saying yes to things that are really a no. And you might be people pleasing or self-sacrificing or whatever it is. Maybe that might be you are skipping your workouts when you really want to go do it. You may feel like you've got hobbies you want to follow that you're not following. There may be things you want to take action on that you're not, whatever, right? So I think it becomes much easier to focus when you focus on something that is worth focusing on, right? Something that fills you up rather than drains you down, right? Because if you're in something that drains you, then you're always going to be looking for ways to distract yourself and get out of it, be it a business, a project, a relationship, whatever. So I think that's the first point. I've got more, but I'll stop there. And if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. First of all, I think that men who, and myself included, who haven't, when we're doing what we love, our phone doesn't come out of our pocket. When we're doing what, like you just get lost in it almost. And I mean, whether it's a hobby or your business, when you're in that flow state, you don't think of pulling up Instagram or wasting time doom scrolling. You just don't. So I think you're almost, this sounds crazy, but you're almost distracting yourself from the distraction by doing what you love and what lights up your soul. I think a lot of men hold themselves back from that because maybe what they really want to do is hard. And when they, it kind of goes back to what we were saying in the previous podcast is, you got to take that leap to do what's hard. And then maybe that will snowball into not being distracted so much and boom, boom, boom. I stole that phrase from you. Boom, boom, boom. But, I think that I know that phone time, screen time is a real issue for a lot of men. I think you hit the nail on the head of, hey, why? Why are you doing that? What's the real core reason?
A lot of people will do it, like social media. Some people will use it as a way to get validation, right? They'll post something up. They'll post a picture of a life that isn't really a true reflection of how they feel about their life. And then everyone likes it, comments, hearts it, all that fun stuff. And they feel better about their life. When in reality, if they actually just didn't post a lie in the first place and dealt with what's going on, so it's almost like it gives them a momentary escape from reality. And I don't, a lack of focus, like I said, is more than likely the symptom versus a root cause. I imagine the root cause is a lack of passion. There's a lack of engage. They are struggling from a lack of engagement with their life because their life is full of things that is kind of vanilla. Yeah. Right. And, honestly, I love vanilla ice cream. One of my favorite flavors. But for the topic of this, they kind of got one foot in, one foot out, more than likely. They'll be on the fence. They'll be in the gray zone, right? Life is going to be pretty black and white. It's not going to be in vibrant color. It reminds me of a guy coming out of the Alpha Reset who said, it's like I was wearing these glasses. I didn't even realize everything I looked at was black and white. And then all of a sudden I take the glasses off and I'm like, wow, the grass is green. The sky is blue. Wow, I see in color now. And that isn't a plug for the Alpha Reset. However you want to get to that point, I think when you're in that space, focus is, like you said, you're not going to be struggling. You're not going to be fighting the urge to go on your phone if you're out in the middle of the mountains doing some mountaineering that you really want to do, be it climbing or you're out paddleboarding or whatever. You're taking your wife on an epic date or an epic trip. Right. And I think, the second point is I think a lot of men are extremely lonely.
Yeah.
They have a distinct shortage of quality men around them. And as a result, I think what they then do is they want to go on the phone again to escape the reality of their life and almost live vicariously through other people to a degree. Or pretend to be living a life that they're not necessarily. And, I've done this years and years ago. But again, the point I'm making is when you've got quality men around you, be it virtually or in person, like you spoke on the last episode, I can't imagine you went to get your phone out much yesterday when you were with that other person, right? Because you're engaged in conversations with quality men who you've been real with, who you're feeling inspired by. So, the second point there is company, right? Who you surrounding yourself with. If you've got quality people in your life, again, it's easier to keep the phone away. But in terms of practicalities for your phone, personally for me, I like to turn all my notifications off. The only two notifications I have on, in fact, I've got WhatsApp and Voxer. And, I've got Workplace as an app. I've got Work Chat as an app. I've got Facebook. I've got Facebook Messenger. I've got Telegram. I've got all those other like fitness apps and all that stuff. But I purposely have all the notifications turned off.
Smart.
I only have Voxer because it's the way the guys in the inner circle communicate with me. And that's where the team communicate with me. And WhatsApp because it's where people in my personal life communicate with me. Everything else is turned off. So, for example, if I go in Work Chat right now, there's about 30 messages in there.
You're a popular guy.
That are unread. And that isn't me being rude. I'm just protecting my energy. I'm protecting my space.
Right.
It doesn't serve the men for me, if all those messages are going off and I'm reactive and I'm responsive, and then it affects my sleep, it affects my time with Amelia, and then living out of alignment, then feel worse. So, I think that's another piece to it, right? You can do that. You can have certain rules. I turn my phone off. This is something I'm working on. I'm constantly working on. I've created some boundaries in my work life so that my laptop is now closed at between 6 p.m. and 6:30, which, when a lot of the team don't come online until midday UK time because of different time zones, or even 3 p.m. UK time, it doesn't give a big window. But I also know if I'm on my laptop after 6:30, chances are, like, I'll do a call with Dinner Circle guys like yourself. We were on a call last night until 6:30.
Right.
After then, closed my laptop, did some alpha decompression. And I didn't turn my phone off. I turned it onto flight mode and I turned it back on because I wanted to have a look on Sky Sports. And some Voxers came in that I didn't check, but it was enough just for me to see the first line. And that in itself triggers ideas and all the rest of it. So from today, I'm going to be turning my phone off from like 7:30-ish. And if I want to go on Sky Sports, I'll use Amelia's phone. If I want to call my family, I'll call from Amelia's phone. If it's an emergency, they'll call Amelia.
That's smart.
Right?
That's smart. I almost think you could have two phones. It sounds crazy, but
slippery slope though, isn't it?
It is a slippery slope. I thought about getting an iPhone mini actually because it's less. I don't think it's the answer though. I think it's just a boundaries thing. Yeah, boundaries.
You've got to have rules in place with yourself. And again, it goes back to the first point, right? If you've got something meaningful in your life that, for me, it's the powerful man is one of the things that's a big passion of mine. And obviously I've got my health and Amelia too, and other things going on in my life. But the point I'm making is if I allow myself to sacrifice my boundaries and be on my phone later or work later, which in some respects is kind of easy to do because I love what we do.
Right.
But I also know I'm then more tired the next day. I'm not going to work out as well. I'm not going to perform as well for the men, so on and so forth. So you just get to balance that passion. But it goes back to the first point. I'm not wanting to sit up all night and sedate by scrolling through my phone or get validation by looking and posting things on social media or living vicariously through other people because I've got things in my life that are inspired and meaningful. And look, I don't mean to sit here and pretend like I'm some fucking God because I'm not. There was a time when it wasn't this way. Right. And I would then be on my phone until late and so on. So I've kind of lived on both sides of this. And again, that's how I can tell you, and also from the men as well, that when you have that thing in your life, it becomes so much easier to focus in a world full of distractions because distractions tend to phase away.
Yeah.
When you apply that also to your personal life, like with mountaineering, for example, that's a passion of mine, or nature and the outdoors, passion of mine. I take Thursdays off work, so tomorrow I'm off. I'll be going in the mountains with Amelia because it fills me up. I feel great, right? And then, like I said, the second point was having quality people in your life, quality men around you, so you can have quality time with people. And the third part is rules around technology, which are much easier when you got the other two things in place.
Well, quality men actually, it brings to mind so I've been on two, scheduled for my third trip with the guys from Powerful Man. And first trip, let you guys in on a secret. We turn in our phones. And it was crazy anxiety ridden. We have one guy in the group, awesome guy, stock trader. And like, he like turned white, like when it was time to turn in the phones. Cool. We get him back day 5, didn't miss it. Didn't even want it. Second trip rolls around. And it's like, when are we turning in phones? It's like, all right, like we don't need this crap, So, having quality men around yourself, even quality time. My wife's phone broke the other day, and they sent her a new one, and it took 48 hours to get to her or whatever, because it's back ordered. And she didn't have a phone for 48 hours, and she was like, God, this is actually kind of freeing. And so we were sitting there watching a show last night, and she's like, hey, or 2 nights ago before a new phone got here, and she's like, hey, if I don't have a phone, you don't have a phone. She's like, let's watch this show together. Just no phones, no distractions, no whatever. And it was really just nice to just step back and realize like how truly these things are. They're a tool. Yes. I can't imagine my life without it, because I've got amazing pictures on there and amazing experiences and amazing, ability I can run my business from my phone. I don't even have to open my laptop, honestly, anymore. I can do it all from my phone. Yes, that's great and all. But it brings me back to a lesson that my dad actually taught me about instant gratification. I was like, Dad, what did y'all do back before you had email? And he was like, well, son, we wrote a letter. I said, and we waited. And I was like, that's it? He's like, yeah. He goes, I would handwrite it, hand it to my secretary. She would type it on a typewriter. They would mail it, and we would wait. And I was like, it's crazy, because if I write an email now at 9 a.m. and I don't have a response by lunch, I'm calling the person. What's going on? And I think we live in this time of, as a notification comes in again, of instant emergencies that don't need to exist. If we would just sit back and realize, I think it was Napoleon who he delayed his mail to his troops by a month or something like that, because I'm getting the story butchered, but basically all problems would solve themselves within that time period. They would find a way to work themselves out because the men, they needed to be at war, whether it's physically or at your work or whatever, focusing on doing what they love. And it taking away the distractions allows you to create, allows you to really get to the root cause of why you're doing what you're doing. So, I've been working on my screen time. I've been working on my phone issues for a while, but
I wouldn't work on your screen time.
Yeah.
I'd work on filling your life with more things that give you meaning.
I agree.
Which by default means look at yesterday when you were with the guy from Brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
I bet your screen time was down. Look at September. So,
yep. Same thing.
And when I was ill a couple of weeks ago, and one morning I woke up to 132 Voxers.
Oh my God.
And I just went through them all and marked probably 127 of them as red. Because it's what nobody's followed up with me since.
Right.
I responded to you guys in Inner Circle, or a couple from you and Force of Nature, maybe one from Doug, one from Arthur. All the others, I'm like,
right.
Point I'm making is, in the moment when people feel rushed and they're living a life that's too fast and too hard, which by default means you get sucked into your phone, keeping up appearances, wanting to put all that kind of stuff, everything can seem important and urgent.
Right.
In reality, most things are not.
Yeah. We all convince ourselves that we're way more important than we are. And I think that's an ego thing, which we could probably go to in another episode sometime. But
a feeling of being needed as well, right? It's a feeling of significance.
Right.
Like, it would have been easy to look at those 132 Voxers and feel needed, and like my opinion was wanted, and blah blah blah.
Right.
I'd rather, as we talk a lot in the movement about managing your energy, not your time.
Right.
I don't want to spend. I probably would have taken an hour or maybe longer to listen to all those Voxers and respond, which would have created replies from other people and, blah, blah, blah. But to your point, how to remain focused in a world that's full of distraction or chaos. I think the first thing is fill your life with more things that give you meaning and inspiration, be it in business, be it in hobbies, whatever. Second thing, surround yourself or spend time with quality people, quality guys, where you can have quality conversations where the time fades away, be it online or ideally in person, right? Third thing is, there's some tactics around things like turning off your notifications, turning off your phone, having the discipline so it can fuel your rest and your recovery for the things you enjoy. Also, you can just be present with the people you love. I'd say probably a bonus one to your point is looking at, if you're feeling that urge to want to check your phone or to post on social media or to just be on the screen, then why is that? Look into it. What needs are being met for you? Maybe it's the need of getting validation from other people. Maybe it's the need of feeling important. Maybe it's just the dopamine hits that you get from scrolling that really they can be addictive, but also they're not really doing anything for you.
Right.
Just become aware of the pattern and just stop it if you want to stop it. Right. You gotta want to stop it for your own reasons. And it's kind of like any addiction, anything. It's your family can't force you to stop or to change. You have to want to change yourself. So I've told this story on my YouTube testimonial after my alpha reset, but I'll never forget as long as I live. And it still makes me sad to this day. My 3-year-old, or she's 9 now, but when she was 3 or 4, she drew a picture of me. She's like, "Daddy, that's you." I'm like, "Cool. What's he holding?" She's like, "A phone." And it just broke my heart. I was like, "Oh shit. Like this sucks." And it's still an issue to an extent, but I'm aware of it. And I think of being aware of the issue and also taking the next steps to really fill your cup with the things that matter to you, and not from a distraction point of view, but from an inspiration point of view, from a motivation point of view to live your life to the fullest. When you're doing that, there's no reason to distract yourself in the phone. Exactly.
Amen.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Powerful Man Show. As Dougie Fresh would like to say, so he isn't with us right now, as you are aware. He's in the Bahamas working with one of the men in the movement. I'm sure he's having a great time. But anyway, as Dougie Fresh likes to say, at the moment of insight, take massive action. Mr. Rush, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being a part of it.
Yeah, guys, have a terrific day. Until next time, we'll see you again on the Powerful Man Show.